but I want to be clear. We're going to do this. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I guess we're never going to know, because he's gone. Alright, so here I am reacting basically in real time. Only a couple hours ago at the time of this recording, Chaim Bloom got fired as Chief Baseball Officer of the Boston Red Sox. And I just have a couple of thoughts I wanted to get out there, see what you guys think, and why I ultimately believe that this is the right move for the Red Sox. Number one, let's start with the obvious. On the field, the team just really wasn't getting it done. Now, outside of the one fluke year in 2021 when the Red Sox went to the ALCS, Chaim Bloom's teams have largely underachieved. I mean, they just haven't been good enough to get things done. And look no further than the last 2 years, where a bunch of deadline inacquisitions really killed them when it came to playing down the stretch. It really didn't look like the team believed. Now, I'm not saying that, they should have made the move, they should have gone all in because this was a World Series contender. Far from it. But you know what I am saying? Guess what? Maybe if you would have acquired someone, they would have been a little bit better. But we'll never know. Again, because Chaim Bloom is gone, in part, I believe, because of his trade deadline inaction. Obviously, the Red Sox are still the Red Sox. They're still Boston. They have a massive payroll. You'd think they have big stars, but the stars have kind of been going away. They still go out and get guys like Justin Turner was a star in yesteryear. Trevor Story is a star, but he's hurt. It feels like every single guy that they get comes with a caveat, and that's just not what you want from one of the big major brands in Major League Baseball. And another thing, roster turnover. I mean, look at the amount of guys that have come in and out through the organization within the last 4 years. It feels like everyone's getting signed, with the exception of a few players, to these 1 or 2 year deals that automatically either they get traded because the Red Sox can recoup assets at the deadline, or they leave some and go somewhere else. It doesn't feel like anyone has staying power. You look at the big names, Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez. That was when the Red Sox won the World Series just the last time, 5 years ago. And the only one that's left, Raffy Devers. And yeah, they did sign him to a big contract. Am I going to give Bloom credit for that? Not really, because let's face it, ownership has to sign off on these things, especially for a deal worth $330 million. There's no way Bloom had authority to go and cash that check himself. I mean, let's face it, Chaim Bloom was definitely boxed in as soon as he got the job. There weren't a whole lot of other takers for the Red Sox president of baseball ops / GM / they ended up calling him Chief Baseball Officer at the time, because they had to know that they were trading Mookie Betts as soon as they got into the role. And that's what Chaim had to do. Now, the return, not necessarily great. I would argue that he did the best he could, especially having to offload that Price contract in the process. But it just really kind of set the tone where, it wasn't necessarily his fault. Ownership boxed him into this corner, but he had to make these deals and deal away these and deal the star player away from your team. And look at what he's doing on the Dodgers right now. I mean, he's still a top 5 player in baseball. He was top 2 when you traded him to LA. Back to the short-term contracts. Just look at the rivals that the Red Sox have when it comes to payroll in terms of the giant clubs. You have the Mets and Steve Cohen, who will pay anybody under the sun. The Yankees just re-upped their star, interesting how that works with Aaron Judge, and made him captain. And the Dodgers will pay Freddie Freeman and pay Mookie Betts. Outside of Trevor Story and Rafael Devers, they really haven't done that. As I said, a lot of 1-2 year deals. Kike Hernandez, Justin Turner, even Chris Martin, Kenley Jansen. It really all feels like short term, and they just keep saying, we're going to build, we're going to build, we're going to build. I'm done with waiting. I really am. Let's face it, you're about to end year 4 of the Bloom era, and it didn't really feel like this team was a whole lot closer to what they needed to be at compared to when they started. The foundation might be there. We still don't know. You have 2 really good young players in Brian Bayo and Tristan Casas. And outside of that, everybody's question marks. You like the guys who are coming up. You like Ceddanne Rafaela. Willie Abreu shows you a little bit of something. But is there a guarantee that they have the potential to show that they're everyday big leaguers? No. You have the money. You have the farm system now that Bloom built up. This job should be attractive for the next person. I'm simply begging whoever comes in next, please spend a little bit of the money, spend it on some big names. Don't be afraid to make a splash. It really feels like John Henry kind of got apathetic towards the end of the Chaim Bloom era. That's what we thought, at least. We thought that he didn't care. We thought that, I don't even know if he still cares, to be honest with you. But he woke up enough out of his slumber to say, all right, I'm going to fire Chaim Bloom, and we're going to take this in what he calls a new direction. What does that new direction look like? We don't know. We just have no idea. And we're going to be kind of along for the ride at this point. I'm not sure if I believe in the direction the Red Sox are going in, but I do know that there just needed to be a change. And the other big thing, what did I learn from the Chaim Bloom firing? It's that Alex Cora won. Bloom and Cora never really mixed. Let's face it, they didn't really jive. Cora's a little bit more old school in his roster management. He kind of connects with the players a little bit more, whereas Bloom is definitely very analytical driven, trust the data, etc., etc. The Red Sox ownership chose Cora. Sam Kennedy said in his press conference they think that he's going to be around next year. It's very rare to get a manager that lasts through 3 regime changes, Dombrowski to Bloom and now to whoever the next guy is. So I'll be interested to see if Cora stays. But I personally would not mind if they just decided to clean house. Start fresh, get whoever you need to get in, and get the new executive, the manager that he wants. Now, it remains to be seen if they're going to do that, which again calls into question my faith in the direction of the organization. But me personally, if I was the GM, clean house. Fire the GM, which you've already done, or fire the chief baseball executive, Fire Cora, get new guys in and try and make some splashes. Because again, you now have a very good farm system. That's the one thing that Chaim Bloom was brought in to do that he definitely accomplishes. He built up the value in your pipeline. You have prospects to spend, you have prospects to promote. Use them. Use the payroll that you've had because you've been able to reset under the luxury tax the past couple of seasons and make a run at it. Maybe you go and get the stud that's sitting over in Japan as a starter because you know they need starting pitching. Maybe you go out and get guys who can actually defend instead of playing guys at positions that they're not supernatural at and make a ton of errors. Because Lord knows, watching this team defensively the last couple of seasons has been an absolute nightmare. I tell you the one thing that is really important to me, at least, is the fact that there's at least a chance that the Red Sox go back to becoming that juggernaut of, the 2007 Sox, where they were just spending big to go and get Josh Beckett. They had Kurt Schilling, they had David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez and Pedroia and Ellsbury with a youth infusion. You look at their payrolls over the times that they've won the World Series, they've all been near the top of the league. This year, 11th. Now that is not on Bloom. That's on John Henry, and that's up to him to fix. Like I said, this is not all on Chaim Bloom. I do believe he's being scapegoated, but he has to answer for some things. He got fired. I know I can't fire ownership. They have to loosen the purse strings for the next guy. We are where we are. Chaim Bloom's gone, and I know that there are a lot of people who liked him in Boston. I know there are a lot of people that are upset with this move, but I'm here to tell you that in my opinion, some sort of change was needed. It didn't necessarily have to be Bloom. Is he being scapegoated? Absolutely. But I'm just glad that there's change, period. My name is Jeremy Guerin. Subscribe, like, comment, do all that awesome stuff. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you. Peace.